18. He's given time. He wants Jefferson. Climbs.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. It is week 10, and it is an exciting day for us here at Moving the Chains. We've got a lot of things coming on this show. But before we get into it and I intro everybody, I want to say Happy Diwali from your South Asian girl here. Today is the Festival of Lights. So if everybody wants to celebrate, just light a candle in your room before you go to sleep tonight to have all the good energy come through your house. So fun fact. And I'm going to bring in, of course, my two faves, Jeff and Joe. How are you guys? Happy Diwali.
Yes, happy Festival of Lights. I didn't realize that was today.
Yeah, it's today. It's a busy day for me. After this, I have to go home and make samosas at my mom's house and do a bunch of cooking and stuff. So,
yes, and for those that served, happy Veterans Day for our own Greg Rector.
For sure.
Amongst a few.
Yeah, definitely can't forget that.
Well, I wasn't off on Friday, so I honestly forgot that it was a holiday. Like, this weekend was packed, I feel like. There was a lot going on.
Unless you work at a bank, I don't think you get Veterans Day anyway.
Yeah, I definitely did not get off yesterday. I was very, very busy. We give free food to all veterans on Saturday, so you already know my day was wildness.
Oh, nice.
For a good cause. Good cause, though. Yeah, it was busy.
Oh, I'm sure. How much food did you turn out?
I think for sales, we did usually on a Saturday, not to bore you guys with restaurant talk, we usually do like 19,000 in sales, and yesterday we did like 26, and we gave away, I think my boss sent me a text message, 800 sandwiches for free.
Wow.
Yeah,
nice.
We were rocking yesterday.
That's awesome. Well, good. Look at us. We're all doing great things. I'm not doing anything that big for today, but maybe next year. All right, so we've got a ton of games. Of course, another Sunday in the books. I don't know how the Colts are going to pull this off. I feel like this game has been kind of ugly in the 6:30 a.m. slot Pacific time. Tell me, can the Colts win this or not? I picked their defense to take me over, and they're not showing off like last week.
I would think so. I mean, that Patriots offense is not exactly a juggernaut. They're not known for putting up points. I feel like Mac Jones just can't. He has a couple of drives where you're like, man, this guy might be the one. And then he'll have 2 or 3 drives where you're like, they got to draft a quarterback. He's not the guy. So I think the Patriots are so inconsistent. This is the Colts game to lose. They should be able to win this one.
Yeah, it's two offenses that right now are not finishing drives, right? You know, the Patriots go down, have an amazing first drive, get into the red zone, hit a brick wall. Well, the Colts go down, they finish theirs, but then they can't get back into the red zone after that. So you're watching two teams right now that can't finish drives. I think the team that finishes the most drives is going to be the team that wins. You know, right now New England's moving the ball, but will they get into the end zone? If they don't get into the end zone, they have to hope that they can hold the Colts to just this 1-7 point and get up a couple of field goals and pull this off. Otherwise, they're going to be over there overseas and coming back 2-8, I think it is, right? 2-8, 2-7, whatever it is just 2 wins at this point, which is well below Bob Kraft standards.
Yeah, I think it's not the prettiest football to start your day off with. So
not at all.
Let's hope that the Minshew magic can change the rest of their offense in this last 2 quarters. We're in the third, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we're in the third. It went real fast. That shows you.
That's Bob boring.
It was 7-3 in the first quarter. Now I look up at it. We're going 2 minutes left in the third quarter. We're still at 7-3. So yeah, this has been one not for the faint of heart. If you're one of these new age football fans that loves a lot of points, this ain't the game for you.
Actually, you know that they're not scoring as many points than they used to in the NFL.
Yeah, scoring is down overall.
Yeah. So we're just playing average football this morning. But we'll roll into more exciting football. And let's start off with the 49ers and the Jags. I think this is a very exciting matchup. We've got Chase Young coming out, first start. The Niners have been on a 3-game losing streak, and now they had a bye week. They're coming into Jacksonville against a team that is number 1 in their division. Same old story, I feel like, for Jacksonville. They play pretty well, and then something goes wrong in the playoffs. I don't know if that Chargers playoffs game was ever going to repeat itself for Jacksonville, but I think this is definitely a test to see how this offense can play. So let's do kind of what we did last week. One of you tackle offense, one of you tackle defense. pick your poison. Jeff, what would you like to hit first?
Well, you know what? I'll let Joe have the glamour side of the ball, right? I'm an old DB. I'll go with the defensive back. So I'll go with the defense, right? We talk about a game right now where the defense you trust more is San Francisco, right? I think they've been healthier still. They add Chase Young to this pass rush. It adds Randy Gregory on the other side, along with Eric Armstead. You got a bunch of guys on that defensive line. You have Fred Warner at linebacker. Okay, I think San Francisco defensively is going to be fine. The problem that they're having right now is offensively they're inconsistent. I mean, they've been missing a couple of playmakers. They've been banged up, but no matter what, this team has to go out there, score points, and stop people. You can't keep leaving your defense naked. You got away with that for the longest period of time, and your offense will come through with some big plays. They're not getting those big plays right now. So you need this defense to come out and have its best game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags defense right now has to be salivating because if you slow down McCaffrey, you can do a lot to Brock Purdy. Okay, especially with all those guys on the outside pretty beat up. The Jaguars secondary, the weakest part of their defense, but overall, if that pass rush gets there up front, they can make life rough on Brock Purdy. But you got to go out there if you're the 49ers and set the tone. You have to go back to being the bullies, and they're not the bullies right now. That mystique is worn off.
Yeah, the performance against the Bengals, they got bullied. Okay, so they need to come back after that. I think a week off refreshed everyone. So, Joe, you get the fun side.
Yeah, no, definitely offense. I'll start with Jacksonville. I just think for them it's important to establish Travis Etienne. He's definitely been healthy, not fumbling the ball, a key part of that offense. I think there's nobody who's happier to suit up on Sundays than Calvin Ridley for the Jaguars. He just goes out there and gives you 100% every time after being suspended all last year. And I think that Trevor Lawrence is due like a big offensive explosion game. I don't think it's going to be this game, personally. I picked the 49ers to win this game. Spoiler alert. But I think that he's due a big game. And I think for the Niners, you're going to have Trent Williams back. He's not going to be 100%, but I think maybe the emotional boost he gives will help them a lot to establish the running game. I think if San Fran can get their running game going and it'll open up that play action pass, Brandon Ayuk, you got Kittle, you have a welcome back Deebo Samuels. I think that this is setting up for the 49ers to really have a nice bounce back game. You got to think that Kyle Shanahan, Steve Wilkes, and all those guys have been locked up in the office watching film, trying to figure out what went right, what went wrong during this 3-game losing streak. I just expect a better performance from San Fran today, but I think Jacksonville's offense is underrated, and I wouldn't be surprised they put up a lot of points, though.
So I have a fun fact for you guys. The Jaguars' rushing defense is 4th in the NFL. So for a team that loves to rush the ball, I feel like this is a challenge that they really need to overcome. We all know CMC is unreal when you watch him play football. It takes an army to take him down. But I think that Jacksonville is kind of that army of defense. I feel like the way that they've been stopping the run I've seen it through the entire first 9 weeks of the season. So I feel like this is going to force Brock to throw. Debo's back. That's great. But we've seen Brock kind of fall apart when he's forced to throw time and time and again. So I think the pressure is going to be high. I think they stop CMC early, hold a lead through like the first half. And then I do also believe the Niners could win this one, but I don't feel like it's going to be like a big blowout. I definitely think this is all pertaining to forcing Brock to throw the ball. So also, go ahead.
That's a big opportunity for Brock Purdy. I mean, he's got to hear that. Whether he'll say, if they ask him, he'll say, "I don't read the press, but on social media, BS." He's been reading it. Everybody's saying this is his fault, and there has been some really bad turnovers in critical situations. I think the person under the most pressure is him to show everybody that, hey, I'm a legitimate NFL quarterback. And like I said about Shanahan and about his offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, you got to think that Brock Purdy too, watching film, trying to figure out what he did wrong, what he did right, and hopefully that all comes together on the field today for him.
All right, so Jeff, I have a question for you. Steve Wilkes is moving from the booth to the field. How much can that enhance the communication or help or hurt it for the team?
It depends on the coordinator. As a coordinator for me, I was always more effective in the booth. I saw all 53 yards, all 100 yards of the field from up top. It allowed me to make better play calls from up top. It allowed me to make better adjustments from up top. When you're on the field, you don't see as much of the field, but you have direct line of communication with the players to make the adjustments a lot faster. So you're not talking to somebody on a phone. You're not relaying it through an assistant. So the word directly gets to the players. You're able to talk directly to the players as they're coming on and off the field. So it depends more on the coach. Some coordinators are better up top. When you have a guy that cooks up top because he can see everything, you let him sit up there and let him relay information down. But if it's a better operation from the sideline, then he's got to come down and come on the sideline and do it from there.
Yeah, I think maybe that face-to-face contact for the players, maybe it'll help kind of re-spark everything. But coming off a bye, you're ready, right? You got the rest. We saw Travis Kelce's out here at Taylor Swift's concert last night. I'm sure everybody saw it. Overtime posted it. So they have done their time, and I think they're ready to dominate the second half of the season. All right, moving on to obviously everyone's favorite team. It's our favorite team right now, the Texans and the Bengals. I feel like we need to get CJ Stroud shirts, like Stroud Strong something, because we are like the biggest fan squad. I think I am. I definitely hype up CJ every chance I get. Based off of that performance against Baker Mayfield and a very experienced quarterback and team, he went out there and won it. He was like, let me just throw a touchdown and see what hits. And Tank Dell said, hit me. So today it's going to be fun to see this really electric offense against a Bengals team who's seasoned. Jamar Chase is going to play. Joe, your defense now. So how can these defenses tackle one another?
Well, I think if you're the Texans, you got to apply pressure. Obviously, you want to make Joe Burrow uncomfortable, get him off the spot. Yeah, he's healthier now and he's fixed to be more mobile, but I think you want to test that and find out really how mobile he is. So if I'm Houston, I want to apply pressure on Joe Burrow, and I want to stop Joe Mixon and the running game. I think if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals, I mean, C.J. Stroud's been outstanding. I'm a Michigan guy, but I'll admit this kid's been fantastic, and he's probably the runaway rookie of the year, but he's still a rookie. So I think if I'm the Bengals, we try to apply pressure without blitzing. Let's just try to see if our front four can apply pressure. That way our linebackers and our secondary can cover these guys. Because I don't know about you two, but I can't name a single tight end or wide receiver on the Texans, but those guys get open, and when they get open, CJ finds them. So I think if I am the Cincinnati Bengals, I want to apply pressure without having to blitz all the time. And remember, this guy still is a rookie. He's a great one, but he's still a rookie.
So Nico Collins is not playing, and Dalton Schultz is the tight end. Don't forget it, okay?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't remember him because he's a former Cowboy.
He's cooking again. That is so old reliable. I feel like he is the definition of old reliable. All right, your turn, Jeff.
Well, I do know the guys on offense for Houston, and I'll tell you what. I think what you're going to see is a lot of points today. I think Joe was talked about a great thing about Cincinnati getting pressure with 4. You're going to need to, because last week C.J. Stroud faced a blitzing defense and torched it. He has been excellent versus the blitz this year. The way to beat him is to play coverage, get pressure with 4, and make him uncomfortable that way, where he has to hold the football away for people to get open, as opposed to being able to read it and get it out quickly. Noah Brown had a career day last week. A lot of Cowboy fans are kicking themselves, let him go. I think it was a one-game thing. I don't think he does that on a weekly basis, but he is a reliable option for him. So I think right now what you saw, Dalton Schultz, Noah Brown, and a bunch of the other receivers they have there in Houston are going to be guys that he's going to need to get open quicker. I think that they're definitely going to use 4-man pressure, maybe a little bit of 5-man pressure to harass him instead of coming out with heavy blitzes and exotic blitzes like Tampa Bay does. I thought Tampa Bay would have a lot more success doing that against them. It didn't work. C.J. Stroud torched them last week. Then on the other hand, you have the opposite side. Joe Burrow and this offense are cooking right now. And right now, that's going to be a tough matchup for any defense that they face, especially the Houston Texans, who got torched by Baker Mayfield last week. So I see points at a premium as both of these offenses are going to cook this week.
Yeah, I feel like this is a fun, high-scoring matchup.
Yeah.
The dangerous part is playing in Cincinnati. I feel like that stadium has become like, the crowd is not very nice to you. Not pleasant, as I love to say about various places that I would never play if I was ever a football player. I I think I agree with everything you guys said, and I also think that this is going to be high scoring, fun, high energy, and the first half is going to be like almost tied. Our final matchup is a nice division rivalry, the Browns and the Ravens. We've been talking about Lamar forever, and we've been talking about how phenomenal he's been playing with whoever is leading him to a victory. Last week, he barely did anything, and they blew up the Seahawks. So, keys to victory for the Ravens. Joe.
I think the key for is set the running game. It's always establishing the run. If they can get the running game that opens up the pass for Lamar Jackson, you saw a sighting of Odell Jr., so OBJ is back. I forgot he was on the team. He's just been a non-factor, battling injuries, but it was good to see him back in the end zone dancing. It's good for him. It's good for football. I think the Ravens, their running game is just the key. I mean, they lost J.K. Dobbins, which was a big loss to them, but now it's like insert running back, and that person just gets busy. So I think for the Baltimore Ravens, you've got to be able to run the game, run the ball. If they can get a run game and it can't be stopped, I see another victory coming for them because they're going up against a really, really good Cleveland Browns defense.
Hit that defense, Jeff.
Well, you just said it. Good defense on both sides. Now, the more opportunistic defense is, of course, the Cleveland Browns. That pass rush, you have one of the best pass rushers in the league, all right, and Garrett. So you have to really look at this defense and say, can they go out there and have that same kind of performance that they had versus San Francisco? Keep the Ravens under 20, which will allow their offense to go out there and get it done. Also, if you're the Baltimore Ravens, you have a quarterback who's coming back off injury. He missed quite a bit of time, who's still not as sharp as you want him to be. This is the time that you have to go out there and get turnovers for your offense. Go out there, turn this Cleveland offense over, put your offense in position to score points, easy points as opposed to having to work 70, 80 yards to the field. Make Lamar Jackson's job easy. Give him short fields. Now that's how you're going to come out there and win this game against Cleveland. But you've got to go out there and get a Browns and do what you do best. Play defense, shut down a possible MVP candidate in Lamar Jackson, shut down this Ravens offense that's been cooking the past few weeks, and allow your offense to go out there and make those same opportunistic plays as well.
I believe the Ravens rushing offense is leading the NFL. And then last week for their rookie Keaton to blow it up and really take over, because I feel like losing your primary running back in the beginning of the season, and then it's just a bunch of uncertainty from there. And then he lights it up last week and is expected to play today. I think that is the true advantage. And the Browns offense is like a chaotic mess. I don't think they have anything figured out. It's like what we talked about with the Rams earlier in our first show. I feel like the Rams were confusing, but then they were winning games. Puka Nacua blow up. And then now I think the Browns are in that same situation where they don't have like one true reliable. Deshaun Watson's always looking confused. So I think I'm curious. Do you guys think Deshaun Watson can like improve in the next 8 weeks? Is this like a really big? I feel like this is a really big game for him and his contract and his time with the Browns.
Well, he's not going anywhere because he's got $200 million in a guaranteed, right? So he's not going anywhere. Most of people love to talk about it. They're not giving up $200 million. So he's your quarterback for the foreseeable future. However, what you want is production. 2 years off was a lot. It's a lot on any quarterback. And to come back and still be inconsistent, injuries and all of that, you're not going to see the Deshaun Watson the way you saw him prior to all of that drama in Houston until he plays at least one full season where he can come back in an offense that he's now getting comfortable in, all right, and be able to produce. I think what you're looking at is you're going to have a guy that you want to rely on the running game, you want to rely on the play action, and you want to rely on guys like Amari Cooper, who's supposed to be these big play guys, to make some plays for you. David Njoku, who's a tough matchup, hasn't really been this tough matchup for a lot of teams. So these are the guys you want to step up and help this quarterback out that's trying to get back to possible top-tier status. But until then, you need your playmakers to make plays. And you don't have that. When Nick Chubb was in there, Nick Chubb was the playmaker. Amari Cooper makes plays 2-3 games a year.
Mm-hmm.
David Njoku pops up now and then. You want these guys to be consistent weapons that go out there week after week and make plays, and that's not what's happening in Cleveland, so it all becomes about the quarterback.
Yeah, I think Jeff's exactly right. I mean, I'm kind of with Ashmere. I was just watching that game a couple of weeks ago, last week actually, when Deshaun Watson came back, and I was like, what happened to this guy? I mean, I just think about before all the drama in Houston, that game against the Raiders in the playoffs where he's getting his helmet ripped off and he's turning, twisting sideways and making plays, and we talk about him being a potential NFL MVP. But as Jeff said, to Jeff's point, he hasn't played football in a full season in pretty much 2 years. So I'll still give him the benefit of the doubt for two reasons. For one, he's still working his way back into things. Yeah, we're already into double-digit weeks in the NFL season, but again, he hadn't played football at a high level for a long time. And the second reason I give him benefit of the doubt is because his quote-unquote playmakers, like Jeff said, haven't been there. I mean, Amari Cooper shows up once in the blue moon. They have guys that they're paying pretty decent money to, but they're not guys that they know when the game's on the line, this person's going to show up, this person's going to make a play. And until that happens, I think we're going to keep on seeing this herky-jerky, inconsistent performances we're seeing from Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I think he was more set up with success with Chubb as his main running back, and losing him is now it's very dependent on Deshaun, who's like regrowing his legs basically, and that's why it's hard when you don't have somebody that you can rely on in the running game to at least take off some of that pressure, and he's got really nothing going on. We've got a fun segment to turn into since we're mid-season through the NFL season. We're going to talk about our MVP, Coach of the Year, Rookie of the Year awards, who we believe receives which. So let's kick it off with the highest of them all, the MVP award. I want you guys to go first. So Jeff, hit me with your MVP.
My MVP right now for the mid-season awards, it's got to go to Pat Mahomes, right? And everybody goes, why Pat Mahomes? Isn't it low-hanging fruit? No, it's not. When you talk about his offensive coordinator has moved on. He's still working with guys at wide receiver. His main dude is a tight end who was hurt at times this season. He's going out there time and time again and made it happen. Yes, they lost 2 games. They're going to lose games. Those won't be the only 2 games they lose. However, they're going to be hosting the playoffs again. They'll be in the AFC Championship again, possibly the Super Bowl again. It'll be because of Patrick Mahomes. Give the dude his flowers. He's doing the job. He's carrying his team. Everybody talks about they want a quarterback that could do it. Pat Mahomes is doing it. Plain and simple.
Well, for me, I got to go with the guy that was like the most criticized and most hated player, I thought, in the offseason, and that's Lamar Jackson. From people talking about he's crazy for not signing a contract, being his own agent, what a dumb move. He's not even worth it. He can't throw the ball. Isn't really a leader. As if we forgot that he won the MVP award not so long ago. And all he's done is come out and show up and show out week after week. Has the Ravens playing at a high level of football. I think we all can agree if he was to go down, God forbid, with the injury, this Ravens team is not even close to what they are right now. So I think that a lot of things that Patrick Mahomes does as far as leadership and being the straw that stirs the drink and one of the main reasons his team wins games, Lamar Jackson's just that exact same thing. He might not be giving you 400-yard passing games or throwing the ball at all kinds of weird arm angles, but he's a winner. He gets things done. So for me so far, I got to go Lamar Jackson.
I think if my friends are watching, they know exactly who I'm going to pick, and it's A.J. Brown. Without him, I think Jalen Hurts is not as successful as he has been throughout the season. They had that beef on the sideline. A.J. said, I am that guy, just like Jamar told Joe, I'm always open. And ever since then, he has been eating every single game. That he's always open. I don't understand. I think, and he's setting, wide receiver records right now. He's just having an electric season. And I truly think if any team figures out how to shut him down, like, he is the key to the Eagles' success. So until that happens, they're going to keep winning games and running through defenses. Next up, we've got our Rookie of the Year. Me and Joe have the same one because we're basically going to wear CJ Stroud shirts the next show. Joe, why Stroud?
Culture changer, man. Just like what Joe Burrow did with Cincinnati. I mean, Houston, like we just talked about it. Deshaun Watson, that mess, and he leaves. You lose J.J. Watt, the guys that were like kind of the quote-unquote pillars of the Texans franchise, and they were just kind of lost for a couple of years. Then you draft this kid at Ohio State. You also bring in DeMarco Ryans as the head coach. And just those two have just completely flipped the culture of the Texans. You got people that I forgot were Houston Texans fans coming out the woodwork now to support this team because of the brand of football they're playing and just the way he carries himself. I mean, you listen to him in the interviews, post-game, pre-game, just says the right things, does the right things, lets his play talk for him. And like Jeff said, how many rookie quarterbacks can we think of, like in the last couple of years, that when you say you apply pressure with the blitz, they're excellent at it, handling it, and can combat the blitz? That's something rookies aren't supposed to be able to do. So I definitely got to go with CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I'm not even going to copy anything you said because you hit it right on the nail. CJ Stroud is a fan favorite right now. So who is your rookie of the year?
Well, the low-hanging fruit would be C.J. Stroud. However,
but the dissing people.
Listen, he's playing the best football of any rookie right now. But I have a guy who's playing some great football, right? We talked about it in the preseason. Oh, the Rams are done, with no Cooper Kupp the first 4 to 6 games. And then all of a sudden, this rookie named Puka Nacua comes out of the woodwork and starts tearing up defenses. Right, he has been a consistent playmaker for the Rams. The reason why the Rams, up until the Matthew Stafford injury, were actually playing some decent football. All right, so when you look at it, there's a kid on the outside that people slept on. Nobody wanted to care about him. Oh, he's got a funny name, but he's come out and taken it to NFL defenses time and time again, week after week. Cooper Kupp is back, and yet he is still there catching footballs. Puka Nacua is a rookie of the year candidate, in my opinion.
Yeah, he had people cashing out in fantasy, so he was phenomenal. Next up, our rookie of the year defensive position, midseason. So, Jeff?
Well, listen, we the Seahawks made the playoffs last year, but does anybody remember who their defensive playmakers were? Very few people, right? But I can tell you what, I know who their defensive playmaker is right now, and it's a rookie named Devin Witherspoon. My top corner on the board last year in the NFL draft has come out and has made an immediate impact. Right? Blitzing off the edge, he's getting sacks, dropping into coverage, he's shutting people down and getting interceptions. Okay, you love what Deron Bland is doing in his second year in Dallas? Well, this kid is doing it his rookie year right now in Seattle, and he's the reason why Seattle may make the playoffs again.
Beautiful.
Well, I went with Jalen Carter from the Eagles. This is a guy that fell in the draft because of some bad decisions made off the field, and all he's done is made people pay for not picking him. He also has the luxury of playing for an Eagles defensive front that's got a lot of depth, so there's not a lot of pressure on him. All he's got to do is go out there and play good football, make plays when opportunity strikes. So I go with Jalen Carter, and I think the scary thing about him is he's only going to get better. He's still trying to figure things out, learn how, not just how NFL defensive play, but just football in general. I mean, this is a guy that left school early. I think the best is yet to come for him, but for me, he's been the defensive rookie of the year so far.
I love that. I actually chose the same person as Jeff. So I feels like I'm piggybacking off everybody, but I think we all, as you've seen a theme in the show, we have a unanimous agreement problem. So sorry about that. Coach of the year.
Only picking games.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. All right, our midseason coach of the year. I'll kick it off. I picked D'Amico Ryans. I think that the way that he has changed the Texans, he's from that team, really seasoned himself with the 49ers and then came here, picked up this quarterback and has just changed the entire offense, changed the defense, changed everything that exists for the Texans and for the community. Last year they won 4 games and they're on the road to probably win at least 1 to 2 more. So they're already ahead of what they did last year. And I just think that the energy that he has with that team, it shows since I'm a CJ Strouder. So, Jeff.
I'm going to go with the Hamburglar Andy Reid, man. Listen, the guy just keeps winning, right? He just keeps winning. We talk about it. We talk about his quarterback, right? This defense, okay? We've talked about the defense. The Chiefs' defense gets better late in the season. It's been playing great early because their offense hasn't been throwing out 50 burgers every week, right? He's got this team playing in a different style. They go out there and win at all costs. Any way we got to do it, and that's exactly what they're doing. You got to give the guy credit. He's still winning games with different people on offense that just aren't as explosive as when he had Tyreek Hill and those guys. and on defense with a lot of guys who nobody talks about being all pro. He's winning with dudes that go out there and play whatever brand of football they ask him to play. That is a hell of a coach.
Yeah, you're right.
Man, I've changed my pick like 3 times like in the last 2 days, but I'm going to go with Nick Sirianni and the Eagles, and this is why. They made the Super Bowl, which was all great, but they lost, and I think it's been shown by history. It's very difficult to get back and to have that focus to want to get back and have that opportunity to lift that Lombardi trophy. And I think with the Eagles, he just pushed all the right buttons and had all the right moves. Yeah, they have a great roster and a great lineup, but we've seen lots of teams in the NFL that on paper look great, but they can't get it done in the field. So I just think what I've seen with the Eagles so far, and like Ashman talked about, it only lasted a few minutes, but that blow up with A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts could turn into something big. He was there to kind of squash that. I heard about having a meeting with the two of them after that game to kind of make sure everybody's on the same page. I just think he's doing all the right things to make sure Philadelphia is in a position to get a chance to get another run at a Super Bowl title.
Yeah, his personality also helps that he has.
Yeah, it's very Philly.
Yeah, yes. I feel like that makes him like very meshable with his team. Andy Reid, I don't have much to comment on. I mean, the trophies are hanging in Kansas City. So
yeah, he's definitely a Bond villain.
Yeah. Yeah. Last up, we've got our comeback player of the year. So I kicked it off. Joe, why don't you let us know?
For me, I picked the guy that we weren't even sure if he's ever going to play football again, and that's Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, this is a guy that the concussions we all saw, the horrific scenes in the video with the fingers and stuff like that, people screaming for him to retire, don't come back, it's not worth it. He allowed himself to have an off season to heal himself mentally and physically. We talked about the whole doing martial arts, learning how to fall the right way and things of that nature. And I think you see it in real time during the football games. Even the way he scrambles when he gets down when he needs to get down. Even the way he's falling is different than what he was falling last year. And obviously the offensive line too has improved for Miami as well. But I just think for a guy that was on the brink of retirement and never playing football again to come back, put the numbers up he's been putting up. I mean, the guy throws a fantastic deep ball. He has Miami Dolphins playing a high level of football, unless they're playing against another elite team, which is for another show of the day. But I got to go with Tua Tagovailoa for my comeback player of the year.
Nice. I think that's a great pick.
For me, I'm going to go with a guy that just came back a few weeks ago and immediately is paying dividends, right? Von Miller comes back to Buffalo off the injury that he suffered last year, and that pass rush goes up. Okay, we've seen AJ Epinesa look like a real pass rusher since he's come back. We all know Greg Rousseau was a dude. He looks a lot better now that he's got help again. All of a sudden, that much maligned defensive front that was playing mediocre, man, oh man, it looks so much better when there's a Von Miller screaming off the edge.
Oh, beautiful. Short and sweet. I love that. I thought you had a whole nother sentence coming up after that.
There's nothing else to say. Von came back. Everything went up.
That's his second ACL tear too, right, Jeff?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Wow. It's like Sean Connery used to say in The Untouchables. Here ended the lesson.
I think there's a lot of players that have, done really well. Tua is one of them. I'm going to go with Joshua Dobbs. I think that keeping the Cardinals afloat as he had been, which we talked about in the first couple weeks of our shows, we were talking about how the Cardinals are just always hanging around. Joshua Dobbs is always kind of figuring out, sure, they're losing games, but they were making it tough for the opposing team. And then this man shows up in Minnesota, literally blinded, didn't have any idea of who was who and where was anything, and wins that game in the end. And I think that is a huge testament to the way that he has been carrying himself all these seasons, been in the NFL for a while, and then just shows up to replace Kirk Cousins, their franchise QB. He really lit things up last week, and I'm excited to see how the second half of the season goes. And once he gets Justin Jefferson back, I feel like that is a very lethal weapon, and that can be used to his advantage to just make him look even better. Before we wrap up, we're going to do everyone's favorite, the rapid fire. So we're going to start off with the Browns and the Ravens. Or I guess we'll start off with the Colts and the Patriots, I guess, if you want to do that.
Well, they're ready, in the fourth quarter. But we found offense, right? We were talking about 7-3 for 3 quarters. Oh, now it's 10-6. And here's New England in the red zone.
My
right?
favorite. Field goal
Is
frenzy.
New England threatening in the red zone? Will they score a touchdown? Don't know. No, they won't because on cue, Mac Jones throws an interception. So,
Nice.
so
Fantasy points for me. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
so-
Colts
yeah,
unanimous.
there you
Yeah,
go.
let's go Colts.
All right, Browns and Ravens. Nice early game.
I'm gonna go Ravens.
Me too. Hold on, I'm writing mine down.
I'm so tempted to lone wolf in this situation, boy, because this is not the game to go all in on one side. Yeah, both of you guys going Ravens, Greg going Ravens. Man, I'm going to have to lone wolf on this one. I'm going to go with the Browns. I think their defense gets it done. I think they get just enough offense. But I was thinking about going Baltimore, but I can't let us go all in on one side. And we're sitting here 4 hours later going, what happened? We all thought the Ravens won that. Yeah. No, I'll
Unless
roll wolf on
Lamar
that.
throws a bunch of interceptions and gets sacked like 5 times, I just feel like it's okay that we agree on this one. Okay, there's plenty more where we don't have to agree on.
We say that every week, and we all go, how do we all agree on this and this team lose? It'll be more than one game. We'll be sweating it out. All of the games that we picked unanimously, we'll be
Honestly,
sweating out.
It's true. It's like we got money on it. All right,
What was our
Packers
record
and
last week?
Steelers.
I didn't get all the picks last week, so I can't tell you the record.
I have them. I'll tell you at the end.
Okay.
All right, the Packers and the Steelers.
I'm still gonna hang on to the fact that this kid Jordan Love can't be this bad. I'm gonna go Packers.
They won last week, but they're not winning this week. I'm going with the Steelers.
Yeah, I agree. I think if anyone is on social media, George Pickens put a "Get Me Out of Here" Instagram story. So I think him and Kenny Pickett probably had to talk about that. And I think Kenny's going to give him the ball a ton more because I think he's a very underutilized wide receiver. So I think somehow the Steelers take this one away. Niners and Jags.
Niners.
I'm really tempted to go with San Francisco. I think they're going to get off the schneid at some point. I think Deebo Samuel makes a big difference for them. How consistent are the Jags defense is the question for me. They had some games they almost let get away. The New Orleans game for one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Joe. I'm going to go with the Niners. They get off the schneid this week.
Okay, beautiful. Oops. Got too many things going on here. All right. Next one. Let's see.
I didn't get your pick, Ashby.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the Niners. Just like
I was about to say, I was like, what's wrong with you?
every default human being. All right, Saints and Vikings. Oh, yesterday I had a huge conversation about this game because I think my boy Joshua Dobbs is gonna win.
Okay, so you're Vikings.
Yes, Vikings.
I'll go Saints.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. These are two teams I hate picking against because
I know.
I don't trust either one of them, but every time I pick against them, they win.
Yeah.
So this is a case where I'm going to be one way or the other no matter what, right? I'm going to go with Minnesota. They seem to be the hotter of the two, although right now the Saints are playing pretty well. But Minnesota's playing well out of nowhere. This team should not be winning right now, and they are. All right, so I'm going to go with Minnesota. For some reason, they're playing some great football, and they're finding ways to get it done. As much as I want to trust the Saints, every time I don't trust them, they win. Every time I trust them, they lose. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Minnesota on this.
Lone Wolf, baby. Saints.
No, technically, Greg is with you.
The matchup against the Bears last week was like way too close for comfort, right? Like, why did it come to the final seconds that Derek Carr had to win that game?
That's a good point.
Stuff like that. It's not my favorite thing to experience. All right, Texan Bengals.
This is tough.
As much as I want our rookie of the year to win this game, I'm going to have to take Cincinnati. They've got more to fight for. They got to come back and dominate that AFC. So I'm going Bengals.
Same. I go Bengals. I can't bet against my boy. Joe Burrow.
I can't let Greg lone wolf on this one. Okay, so I'm going to go with Greg. We're going to go with the Texans.
Nice. I love that.
Split.
That's bold.
I love that. All right, Titans and Bucks.
Ugh.
Oh man, listen, you got two teams. It's in Tampa. It's funny. I both of my nephews are split on this one. There's a civil war between two brothers. One's a Titans fan, one's a Buck fan. I trust the Bucks defense, and they got carved up last week in a game where I thought they would have gotten it done. When I watch Tennessee, I know they can run the football and do all of those things, and they can play some really good defense. Trust the Bucks at home. Not overly confident in them, but I'm going to take them.
Okay,
so you go Tampa. I'll go Tennessee.
Oh, God. I'm going to go Tampa. I'm Tampa myself. All right. You're Tennessee. All right. Perfect. Okay. Next up, we've got Lions Chargers.
Lions. Easy pick. Until the Chargers get a new head coach, I'll never pick them. Wasting Justin Herbert's talent.
Wow. So Joe's going Lions. I tend to agree with Joe. The Lions are just a better team right now. Yeah. They're playing better football. The Chargers got a little hot for a while. But you're not going to play the Jets every week. So, therefore, I'm going to go with Detroit.
I'm going to be the outlier here and pick the Chargers.
Oh, lone wolf.
There's always the moment in the season where the Chargers make that climb and everyone's like, oh, this team's got things going well and they're going to figure it out. But they win the weirdest games. Like, this is a game the Lions should win. I'm just going to think the Chargers do something crazy and win by a field goal in the end or something. Drive down the field. Nothing crazy, but I'm the outlier.
Ashby getting her lone wolf on with the Chargers.
That'll be the first time she's lone wolf, I think.
Yeah. And with the Chargers of all people.
I know. I'm over here like, Justin, don't do me wrong.
I wouldn't lone wolf on the Chargers if the Chargers paid me. I'm sorry. There's no way, not the way they're playing this year, that I can lone wolf. I'll lone wolf against them. I have and won. So, yeah, I will not lone wolf on the Chargers.
Keep your phone on. The memes are going to come fast and furious during that game.
Everyone's going to be sending me a bunch of stuff. All right, Falcons and Cardinals.
Ugh.
It's kind of hard to say the birds because which team are you talking about, right? You know, so in this one, give me the dirty birds. I'll take Atlanta.
Yeah, I'll take Atlanta too. I don't know. Kyler Murray, first game back in forever. I don't know what to expect too much from the Cardinals. I think James Conner is back too as well. They get Conner back, but I'll go Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm going to ride with you guys. I think the Atlanta offense is just too heat to beat right now. Giants Cowboys, yum, love that game.
God, Cowboys by 50. Dallas by 50 at halftime. This game's going to be horrible.
Yeah, I definitely don't think many people are going to be tuning into that one.
I will not be.
Yeah.
I'll take Dallas. Listen, I know I already knew what Greg was picking before he even put it up. But and I'll put it up just for everybody else. But listen, when they had their starter, when they had everybody, it was 40-0. Okay, they got smoked. Okay. I don't expect anything different. They're just going to get ugly. It may be close at first, but this will get ugly, and it'll get ugly fast in the second half. I'm going to go with Dallas.
Yes.
All right, Joe's Commanders versus Seattle.
Commanders. Ashburn told me if they lost, I was banned from wearing this hat ever again. They won.
That was for last week, okay?
I'm going Washington. Geno Smith has seemed to be in a rut lately.
I'm going to go with Seattle. I think that defense gets it done for Seattle. I think Geno and those guys will be good enough. I think the running game will help save them. I think that the diminished pass rush of the Commanders, not giving away those 2 edge rushers, is going to make it a little bit easier on those guys to run their play action stuff. So I'm going to go with Seattle. And that cost my defensive rookie of the year pick to make a play in this game.
I'm going to roll with Washington too, just because I don't like Seattle. That's the only straight up.
Fair
Sunday
enough.
night, Jets are there again. We're watching Green and the Raiders. I'm picking the Raiders, baby. This is a new era of Raiders football.
Yeah, I'm going to Vegas too. I like what I saw last week. I think Antonio Pierce is just what that team needed. And it's the Jets. Come on.
Do not be the outlier just for fun on this, okay? It's not going to be good.
No.
Don't lone wolf this game, Jeff. Do not lone wolf it with the Jets.
No. There are 2 teams I don't lone wolf on: the Chargers and the Jets. Okay, you could do it if they had Aaron Rodgers. Maybe he makes some special plays and they win. But this is Zach Wilson. Okay, enough said. All right. I listen. I did not have a first-round grade on him in the draft. People complained, "Oh, how could you not have a first-round grade on Zach Wilson?" Here lies the evidence. It just keeps laying itself out every time. He's a quality kid, a quality quarterback, a nice kid, but unfortunately, he is not top tier. He is not a franchise quarterback, and it's playing itself out for Jet fans. You better hope that Aaron Rodgers comes back nice and healthy next year. So,
All right, in our final game, the Broncos versus the Bills.
Ooh. Is it the game in Denver?
It is in Buffalo.
Oh.
yeah,
I'll go Bills then. I was going to go Broncos if they're playing at home.
yeah, I know. I'll take the Bills. Plain and simple. I think the pass rush gets it done.
Yep.
Bills Mafia out here. Okay, our week 9 tallies. So we all picked Atlanta. They lost. We all picked the Saints. Oh, no, sorry. Joe picked Chicago. Jeff and I did Saints. We won. Packers won. I picked Houston. Jeff picked the Bucks. We all saw CJ blow it up. Unanimous Browns, of course.
Yeah.
The Colts took over the Panthers. We were really hoping that we could see Bryce Young win something, me and Joe. Raiders, Jeff picked against. So, I guess that should be your 3rd team that you don't want to be the lone wolf on is the Giants.
I was pretty good lone wolfing against them before, so they just happened to show me wrong. They had something to prove. It's an outlier. It
Watch the
happens.
show.
All right, and then the Chargers, Jets. I picked Chargers. Y'all picked the Jets.
Thanks.
Lone
And
wolves
then
are
we were
really paying off.
unanimous for the Commanders. So we were much better last week than we were in the beginning of
It's
this
coming
season.
together, man. It's coming together. We also are in mid-season form.
Yes, 100%. Sorry, Joe, I cut you off. Or Jeff.
No, they didn't cut me off. Yeah. Well, Greg did lone wolf on Denver, so think about that one.
Oh, wow.
That
That's
wasn't
what-
going to be me. Wasn't going to be me.
That's a tough shot, Greg. Good luck. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us for another week of Moving the Chains. It was an eventful one. We talked for an hour. It's been a long time since we've done that. Have a great Sunday, and be sure to win your fantasy weeks. All right. Thanks for tuning in.